Did you truly believe that the messiest place in Harlem, Clyde and Bonnie might fabricate a whole fact-checking pregnancy hoax brand and stealthily disappear into the sunset without, "Oh, sweetheart, someone is blowing the whistle. Oh, darling, you might want to sit down, put your phone on silent, and have a snack." Because of what's going to appear on your screen, not only is it disorganized, but it's criminally absurd that we're discussing false bumps, staged doctor's notes, burner phones, and a brutal betrayal that makes soap operas look like Chrissy from Sesame Street. And the glam crew of chaos led by Cameron Harlem believed they could create a phony baby, plot into clicks and checks, and they shed pity tears, yet they overlook something. Yes, Jim Jones doesn't play. The final devoted king of Harlem just blew the most phony controversy in reality TV was never broadcast. And Chili's receipts are more repulsive than one. Chrissy's phony ultrasound pictures from the fetus frauds using charity funds that never. This is a full federal case, ma'am. Offense in the making, so fasten your seatbelt. So this expose is going to drag every phony bump, every rumor behind closed doors, and all of the dubious money into. When the daylight is ready, let's begin. Let's set the record straight immediately. This isn't your typical pursuit of influence. Controversy, this type of filth, is what left Harlem's surfaces permanently stained. Pavement, the sort of treachery that even soap shows wouldn't accept since they're too extraordinary, since Chrissy and Coman chose to pretend to be pregnant in order to show compassion, get sponsorships, and manipulate the allegiance of Harlem. They didn't. They put the bar underground, so simply go low. And Jim is at the heart of this circus. The final ride or death moment for Jones Harlem continues to support Dip, set like the If Brotherhood Hadn't Been Blinded, slaughtered and abandoned. Behind a phony pregnancy photo shoot, you are curious about the origins of the photograph. This bottomless Harlem Tavern 2022 backroom layout transformed from mimosa brunch planning, as stated by a nail technician who was obviously unable to contain water and undoubtedly failed to sign a valid NDA. Leaning over her prawns, Chrissy, Cam's diamond-stacked wrist was touched by grits, and muttered the deception that would, what if the world believes that Harlem is back? Stop right there. I'm pregnant again. There, it's more than simply desperation. It's confirmed devil. But Cam is. Always the opportunist didn't blink. He flinched and took out his second phone. The burner responded, "I'm not the public one," without a hitch, if you sell it. Yes, everyone eats, and boy did they feast. Chrissy was back on in a few days. Instagram user with a noticeable tummy bulge at night, oddly fluffier than it established the fan sites in the morning. Lauding her shine, parenting blogs gained popularity. Chrissy's was written on the crumbs. The redemption arc is the motherhood journey. Please, we needed barbershops in Harlem. A distinct song that bumped was whispered, constructed as though it were filled with socks. And the trick worked, and she followed again. Cam's 4 former brand sponsors began to appear. Mysterious letters, including baby emojis and subtle insults. Similar to how real guys feed their Jim Jones? In the meantime, Bless's devoted naive heart was posting late. Selfies at night, kissing her stomach, believing that he will soon become a parent once more. But in the background, Cam and Chrissy were putting up a whole production crew behind the most phony pregnancy. Never before had Harlem witnessed an OBGYN on the road from Jersey whose Cam's license has fewer suspensions. They fabricated sonograms on mixtape drops, laptops with burners, printed blood work from Photoshop, and produced a pregnancy using invoice templates to generate receipts obtained from Reddit. According to an insider, Chrissy even worked on her waddling skills in the mirror to make her gait resemble her fictitious hump. It was a successful performance. One sponsorship came flooding in. A health company in the spring provided $50,000 for a pregnancy on YouTube. She received cases of nappies from a diaper manufacturer, product for a non-existent baby. She even secured a deluxe picture shoot. posing in silk robes for the maternity line, holding her stomach while crying, as if she didn't have a $29. The belly band from Amazon beneath that dress cam, on the other hand, was taking the long view. He kept quiet so Chrissy could take the flashlight as he set up the shadows. He used Shell to channel hush money. Companies that go by names like Mommy Empire, he scheduled a phony prenatal consultation. Arrangements made under false pretenses and during Jim spent time at home browsing Pinterest. Cam was 2 streets away in a baby names laughing at the hookah lounge with his group about how simple everything seemed. But one thoughtless moment caused it to break. The Midtown Hotel is completely exposed. One where Chrissy had surreptitious. Capturing bump footage with a phony the housekeeping lady there has a sonogram kit. God bless her for having such petty instincts. A pregnancy, something strange in the garbage. 3 unopened bottles of Belly Band, a crumpled piece of paper, and prenatal vitamins using dates that weren't consistent with any during her pregnancy. She took a picture and forwarded it to a gossip blogger in Harlem. This isn't adding up with a message. Was the social media match within hours? Was on fire, the tag became popular. Fans of Dipset were yelling treachery. Jim's name was displayed on all memes, and the blogger is the best part. Wasn't finished? They had bank receipts, appointments, transfers, and very hazy footage of Chrissy in the same hotel room, wig with the belly off, sobbing sloppily when speaking to Cam on the phone on the sweat causing her tummy to ache. It was degrading to be beneath the phony band. Jim's squad suffered immediate harm, control, but screenshots were taken too late. Audio leaks were released and the streets sought blood from a plausible, anonymous source. A former intern from Cam's unsuccessful podcast Burner Phone. Files revealed the studio communications between Chrissy and Cam in a single text. Make sure Jim doesn't find out. Out till the brand has been verified. That really hit home. They had an entire timeline to make money off of a phony baby belly before Jim Harlan exploded, even though they knew it wasn't genuine. Some people blamed Chrissy on Twitter. Others referred to her as the mastermind. Cam was the puppeteer who was dragging the strings, similarly to the villain from the dollar store. He has consistently feigned not to be in the midst of all of this. Jim Hoodie Half became viral on Instagram. His voice cracked, his eyes red, but he didn't cry. However, he didn't require your affection. Someone so deeply that you allowed them to destroy you. He spoke into the camera twice. That live, nobody was viewed by 200,000 people. Not even the trolls on the timeline laughed. Stop the onslaught of prayerful remarks. Anger, bewilderment, and sadness were genuine. Jim wasn't simply deceived. He was embarrassed on a worldwide platform by the 2 individuals who ought to have received his Harlem. It wasn't finished with this, though. Circus, however, as Jim concluded to live quietly and simply wanted a Dropbox, was leaked by another family member. Inside contracts, the anonymous sender folder NDAs, a Mommy Empire PR deck, rollout plan, and hidden in that file below, timelines, products, and hashtags. Pitch was classified as Phase 5, bullet point 1 of the emotional escape strategies. Announced the miscarriage in a planned manner for the arc of affection. For the time, Harlem bloggers were hammered by that PR deck. Burst as though someone had lit a fire to the final challenge to confidence is still present. Phase 5 of the Dipset is a proposed these 2 miscarried, but they weren't merely, they were award-winning fraudsters. Manipulators who use production. Schedules. Those who supported Chrissy's tears were abruptly taking down their tweets, despite the fact that the most hateful stan accounts ceased to exist, just when folks were too shocked to believe that the rabbit hole had reached the bottom. Remember the true twist that slithered in? Yes, Reggie, the dubious former manager, Camp reportedly abandoned around the middle of the 2010s after defrauding him of the money from the club gig. As it happens, Reggie had been observing silence, bitterly gathering everything, and baby When he observed Cam profiting from a phony while still owing him a tour, pregnant suddenly, Reggie went completely crazy. Gave the intern additional screenshots, voice memos, and more in a single memo leak within hours, and became evident the next day. A ringing phone instructs Chrissy to continue to weep as we transfer the goods we create. More when they believe she is unhappy. Blogs lighted up in Harlem, which was almost a riot. Timelines were created by TOAC detectives, so details that the FBI may have utilized. Even TV royalty Mona Scott Young, the Ratchet reunions were forced to make Miss put a dry PR statement in the corner. There is no contract between Lannon and any of our translations of current productions. Sis is poisonous, and we are unable to clear up this mess. Increased, but the brand's negative effects were already the vitamin reaches cataclysmic proportions. The sponsor removed the maternity line. All indications of Chrissy. From there we shared a pinned comment on Instagram. Encourage true motherhood, which we don't support through dishonesty, and the designer Baby Boutique that she shared about being sued. The entire event was referred to as brand harm. While lawsuits brought by deceptive associations, refunds for brewing were requested. And Chrissy's public relations staff were frantically circling with a damaged needle like a DJ. In the meanwhile, Cam did what Cam could only do. Halfway off-chain, he went live with a hoodie, holding a red cup while dancing on his chest. 50,000 people saw him lean towards the camera and say, "Loyalty is dead." And I'm the only one sincere enough to acknowledge that I slaughtered it brutally. However, there was a war zone snake in the comments area. Fans of clown emojis who once said, "Dip upset for life now." They blasted, citing passages from the Bible and labeling it spiritual deception, and Jim chose not to go. He hit booth 3. Live without tweeting. A raw freestyle appeared a few days later on No More Puppets, No, which is a SoundCloud song. Beat, heartache, and Jim spitting. I felt like I was being played like a belly band fool, and a dream that I were a queen shown to be a fraud. It was a eulogy of vehicles, not music. The song was played like a funeral in Harlem. Barbershops stopped playing anthems when it told heads bowed in agony as it came on. Agreement, but there was only one tragedy side of this flaming coin, since albeit supporters lamented the passing of whatever once. Loyalty dips meant the feds began sniffing about, and word got out that Homeland Security identified many suspicious payments associated with a fraudulent Chrissy and Cam started a charitable fund. In the fictitious pregnancy arc, the Moms Foundation for Singles, as it is known. Mothers reportedly failed to assist those in need. Mothers, it was a money conduit. Laundering plot with a baby disguised scripted tears and emoticons. Businesses send PayPal invoices and wire transactions. 4 consultations on prenatal well-being that found their way into Cam Spirit's business. This was not an influential drama. Anyhow, this may have been wire fraud. A gossip the blogger shared a grainy image of Chrissy's car parked outside a black SUV. Feds was the caption, regulative caption for a cousin's apartment. Questioning her about receipts for hush money, Harlem had stopped laughing. Even the barbershop jokes ceased to exist. Homeland Security and the IRS disparaged the meme cycle ending, yet the drama persists in some way. Wasn't carried out because the public believed that the leaks were stopping. The most popular villain on the internet made his bring back the forgotten Dipset. Lil Moo, the same errand boy who once transported Cam's duffel bags and got on stage with unconventional freestyles. Once again, he appeared during the flip phone era in a blurry YouTube video, featuring a blunt in revenge in the other Moo, and one hand stated that his backup hard disk was full of voice notes on an unannounced burner phone footage, including one of Chrissy giggling on camera about brand payments using the phony bump. He taunted her while sitting next to her like a prop. He then wrote, "They believed that I neglected to note who was paying for the others. It wasn't a danger, but the last joke about Harlem, even the rats have receipts by now." Each and every lover of reality TV with a phone burner and a blog that was operational revealed Reddit threads. Was Mona in a conspiracy that exploded? Did Jim's mother know a blogger on it? Mama Jones was spotted outside a hair parlor and asked her directly for her response. Jimmy was informed that the girl was poisoned when she forced him to ink her lips, rather than Harlem exploded when a ring was placed on it. And it's horrible when even your mother's pulling your name over the pavement cam attempted to act unconcerned. In the meanwhile, he intensified his evil persona, sporting the phrase, "real ones," on a t-shirt. Instagram stories are a place to deceive. But the bog was really drying up. 2 liquor businesses severed their connections with him. Silently taken off the dipette, the promoter of the anniversary tour leaked that Cam was apparently begging, on a dime, for a $50,000 down payment, oathing the controversy would go away. But it didn't, and the puppet strings were clearly visible. Reggie, keep in mind that group conversation leaked the image of Cam Chrissy with their PR fixer talked about which rumors and blogs that would help them bury the infant. Bump rumors if they become really heated. Don't let Jim know that you're stuck out till the scorched line is cleared by the bag. It's like petrol on the timeline fireworks. Jim not only learnt about the Dipset allegiance not being practiced by the entire world, just shattered. It was burnt and incinerated. Real-time ashes, but the last twist, what arrived wasn't Reggie or Mo next. Since someone may be Moo, perhaps Reggie is someone we haven't yet met. A link to Google Drive in the comment part of each. Chrissy-related post and Cam without any credits or watermarks. Simply a final split agreement folder, everything has contracts and signatures within. Fake OBGYN invoices with bank instructions and a paper are the last nail in the coffin. Marked in red, don't let Jim know till the money is safe. But Harlem couldn't. The fans were unable to turn away. Didn't turn away, and suddenly the dream of Dipset didn't simply end. Pixel by pixel, broken apart and revealed by a PDF document that has more treachery than a tragedy by Shakespeare on Google Drive. It's a Telegram folder that spreads like wildfire, Discord conversations, groups, and even private Instagram reposting the files with tales of remarks such as Dipset is dead. Long live the fraud. But if Harlem believed the "oh no" paperwork was the last straw, the storm had not yet reached its maximum intensity, because the same mood is present on cue. Lil Amu ever received the same treatment as a water boy finally accomplished what he'd been doing with a microphone threatening throughout. He posted the voicemails, not one, not two, but a whole bunch of them. A collection that is so filthy and cruel that the majority of seasoned gossip junkies stopped go through Cameron's and Chrissy's files. Unaware and alone, captured in a hotel suite, giggling, plotting, and making plans to sell the infant lies on several networks. Chrissy is going to devour this. One camera laughs and says, "I'll weep if Jimmy has to remain in, but they need me in the dark till Q4. Otherwise, we forfeit the perk of exclusivity." Q4. Like this was a quarterly report, as if Jim were not a person, merely playing a part in a press rollout. As soon as the audio appeared on the blogs, the internet blew its collective fuse. YouTubers took a break from their TikTok mukbangs. Everyone's dancing trends were abandoned by talkers, was responding by yelling, sobbing, and shattering down each and every second of the video. Was Jim silent throughout the Zapruder movie? Didn't communicate, publish, or leave a one bar, simply disappeared without being followed. Chrissy deleted Cam's page and unfollowed him in order to Mona Scott Young is black, although she reappeared with a press, like a ghost badge term that she attempted to permit the audio recordings for a documentary. The loyalty isn't free. The series, even VH1 denied Dipset implosion. This scandal was that radioactive. Get uninterested in touching it. And even still, the debris continued to spread. Executives who had previously funded Chrissy started, "We formally apologize for being misled." According to the story, one CEO of skincare. In the meanwhile, Cam's now deleted tweet, "The Spirits firm discreetly removed all of the ads, pressed his face on it, and began to shove new spokespersons." One courageous fan was apprehended, came and shouted outside a restaurant. "Where's the baby money killer?" Cam asked, shrugged, and chuckled, saying, "You upset because I'm truthful?" But Harlem wasn't giggling. Harlem was no longer observing. Harlem was aching because all of the memes are underneath burner phone drama, voice notes, and legacy. Dipet was betrayed in this way, was more than simply a rap group. It was a representation, a cultural landmark, enveloped in a movement with unrepentant boldness, pink fur, and all that was left were receipts. Regrets, and the Federal Homeland Security Agency then arrived, verified that they were examining financial exchanges related to phony nonprofit organizations that were advertised by well-known public personalities in English. Cam and Chrissy's phony charity might turn into a genuine case that their attorney dismissed. In a hazy denial, Ms. Lennon asserts her naivete and anticipates her name being cleared. But the streets didn't buy it, particularly if the charity's a luxury was linked to a PayPal account, searching for a bespoke pink vehicle leasing Bentley purportedly registered in Cam's mother's name. And where was Jim at all times? According to this rumor, he's getting a lawyer. In private, a sealed civil lawsuit was submitted in under the pseudonym J.J. Doe, New York State. And you know what it accuses of being emotional? False misrepresentation. Defamation with losses above $2 million in translation of misleading brand leverage. Jim's come for blood. And if that court date, if it becomes public, Harlem will require a live broadcast from the first row. Yet the genuine moral was terrifying. But it wasn't concerning the bump. It was about the final genuine man realizing that he had been cast as Jim's last social appearance as a soap opera idiot. Prior to his blackout, a media post stated 3 words in a basic black square: "There is no such thing." As small white font loyalty was an obituary, not a caption. And Harlem began to mourn its supporters, altered the images on their Dipset profile to broken chains, including the largest Cam defenders. They grew quiet. You could sense the change. The quiet wasn't tranquility. It was disappointment, since, in the back of your mind, everyone hoped that Dipset would be different. For Chrissy, brotherhood meant something. Cam wasn't very filthy. But now they were more filthy and created a pregnant deception. Includes a comprehensive PR campaign, merchandise sales, and they sold phony medical bills that after cashing all of the checks. Fantasy departed, the only one who genuinely thought it was possible. Weeping into a microphone, that's not just. Character assassination is disloyalty for financial gain, and the sector is currently observing quietly and cautiously in anticipation of who betrays whom, because, well, in Harlem, it's said that snakes don't hiss. Additionally, if Moose cassettes were imagined, what's still there after only the warm-up? Some are concealed within those hard disks. According to sources, Cam has additional audio hidden aside in case he drops a mixtape with actual court calls. An audio maternity lays Volume 1. According to some, Chrissy's group is putting in extra effort to get hush agreements for your brand before any formal indictments are issued, and others believe that the worst is still to come. Upon receiving Lil Moo's final files, he implied that they would destroy reputations. Always include the DM's wiring instructions, as well as a private group chat with not only Cam and Chrissy, but a particular love and a producer of hip-hop who, supposedly during supper, I presented the baby storyline. If accurate, in 2021, that's not only a treasonous controversy on reality TV, but now, let's be honest, what might be more shocking to us? Jim's suffering was the heritage of Harlem is already public property. Already broken, and the infant that never turned into a ghost that haunted every freestyle and commercial deal. These street icons have betrayed every promise, created while grinning at one another. Thus, we wait, observe. And maintain the phone chargers for burners, because if there's one lesson we learned from this experience, it is that a viral tick is more powerful than loyalty. Don't forget Harlem, and don't forgive. And this is only the beginning, not the conclusion. Last pause before someone else drops another voicemail, another folder, another astounding turn of events that leaves us all gasping. Pour one out for the fairy because I'm gasping. Story that pretended to be pregnant and kept your clout buried in its crown. Eyes met because, after the last, the whistleblower displays their Harlem face. Be here immediately, pulling each final receipt into the morning just for you. So now that the baby bump has finally slipped through the mask, it's dropped, and all of the receipts are out, and what do you believe Jim Jones was in the open about? The final devoted soldier in a conflict based on, was he a liar or simply another pawn? Unable to perceive the knife emerging from his Chrissy was the brains of the biggest fraud Harlem has ever witnessed. Lashes, cold, and a phony ultrasound grin. Or was she only acting out her part? In the screenplay for Cameron's cloud chasing? And Cam, the unrepentant villain of Wizzy Harlem, or a poor puppeteer who is anxious to remain relevant in a world that has changed. Drop your most outrageous notions without him. Right now, I would, Chrissy, Jimmy, and the entire crew. Do you support Cam or the Burn It All Down team? Believe there will be more dirt in the future? Jim is going to disclose another file. Take the stage with a microphone rather than an attorney? Or is Mona Scott Young going to sell? Take the entire show to Netflix and label it. The lie that destroyed Harlem was loyalty. You have been suppressing your breath. Every scandal, leak, and horror fabrication is only beginning. So don't just scroll like this while sitting there. Hit the like button if you want to rerun and believe Jim should be given justice, then crush that. If you're prepared for the next reveal, the next treachery, the next victim to send this to your cousin by dropping it off. Still maintains that devotion was the key to Dipset. Inform them of the facts that arrived with Harlem. It never forgets to stick with receipts. Petty, keep your hob ready. Phones were charged due to the next voicemail potentially wrecking everything. It's best to wreck everything.